the super delicious cereal presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Leaving Clark Kent, whom he knows to be Superman, near death in a secret cellar, Henry Miller, the Nazi atom man, destroyed the Metropolis Stadium. He then phoned the mayor and threatened to destroy the rest of the great city that night. Miller boasted that Superman was dying, and that he had eliminated his former ally, an international spy named Sidney. Editor Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and private detective Candy Myers hurried to Sidney's deserted country house, where Candy finally discovered the secret concrete room under the garage where Kent was trapped. As we continue now, Candy and Jimmy kneel anxiously beside the unconscious Kent. Nearby lie the bodies of Sidney and his Japanese servant, Jito. Listen.
Mr. Kent, say something. Mr. Kent. He doesn't answer. And look how white he is. Candy, he's dead.
Take it easy, Jim.
He is, I tell you. He... Golly.
Take it easy, I said. He's still alive.
Well, he is?
Yeah, but he's in bad shape. Needs a doctor.
Well, where are we going to get one? We're way out in the country.
I know. Look, run back to the house and get some water. Tell Mr. White to phone the nearest town and get a doctor out here. The police, too. Hurry up now.
All right. Okay.
Jim! Candy! Where are you? What the... What's this big hole in the floor? Olsen! Where did you pop up from?
There's a room down there. We found Mr. Kent.
What? Where?
Go down these stairs. I've got to get some water.
Good Godfrey. Candy, is he...
He's alive.
He is? Oh, thank heaven. What's the matter with him?
I don't know. There are no marks on him. But look how thin he is. Like he's been starved.
We've got to get a doctor.
I told Jim to call one.
I called the county police, and maybe they... who are those other two men on the floor?
The fat one is Sidney. The little one is his servant, Jito. They're both done for.
Well, they're blackened. They're charred.
Yeah, but don't ask me what happened. The only thing I can figure out about this whole screwy setup is how Kent tipped us off. There's the phone to the house on the wall there, see?
Yes, but never mind that now. We've got to do something for Kent.
Well, as soon as Jim gets back...
Oh, here he comes now.
Here I am. Did he come too?
No. Let's have that water.
Yeah, okay, here.
Yeah. Now, help me hold up his head, Mr. White.
Yep. Oh, there. All right.
Gosh, he's so thin.
I can't imagine what happened to him.
Come on now, Kent. Try to drink some of this, fella.
I think he's coming to.
Sure he is. Look, he's starting to sit up.
Easy, Kent. Take it easy, boy.
More water. But you hear that? He's all right. He's all right.
Oh, thank heaven.
Here you are, Kent. Drink it slowly.
Oh, that's good.
How do you feel now?
What happened, Kent?
I'll be all right. Just bring me more water and some food. Been starving almost a week.
Jumping, Jemima. Jim, run back to the house and raid the icebox. Step on it.
Okay. Oh, boy, am I happy. Candy, what about Miller?
Don't try to talk yet. You're too weak.
Oh, tell me. Miller said he's going to destroy Metropolis.
Yeah, tonight.
Tonight?
No, forget it, Kent. Miller's bluffing.
No, he's not bluffing. He has atomic power. Terrific atomic power.
Now, wait a minute.
Tell you he has, Chief. Look at Sidney there. And Jito. Miller finished them with it.
On the level, Kent?
Yes. And only I know the secret of his power. He wears a little box on his throat. An electronic converter. If I can get that converter, he'll be helpless. Oh, but I'm so weak. I almost died. Miller and Sidney figured out the one way I could be finished.
What are you talking about, Kent?
Oh, he's raving. He's out of his mind.
Oh, I've got to get out of here before it's too late. Come on, help me out. Maybe the fresh air.
Now, wait, Kent.
No, don't argue, Chief. Help me. That's it. Get me outside. And then bring me food and more water. If I can get my strength back before tonight, we'll have a chance to save Metropolis.
Wait, take it easy, Kent. If what you say is true, and Miller has atomic power...
Oh, believe me, he has.
Then the only one who can stop him is Superman.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Come on. Help me up the steps.
Pausing only long enough for Kent to eat some food, our friends drive back to Metropolis. And a short time later, Kent, almost recovered, and Perry White are in the office of Inspector Henderson at police headquarters. Henderson is barking orders over the telephone.
That's right, Donovan.
I want every boat except the police launches out of the canal by 5 o'clock this afternoon. And I want big floodlights, plenty of them, lighting up every foot of the banks. You got that? Okay. Check with me later. Well, I'm taking every possible precaution, but I'm afraid it isn't enough. We can guard every foot of territory along the North Canal, the Metropolis River, and the reservoirs above the city.
What about the Army, Inspector?
Well, they're cooperating, Mr. White. But even so, it's almost a physical impossibility to cover all that territory. Why, he might be disguised as a soldier again, a laborer, even a woman.
I'll know him. Only I see him in time.
Big help you'll be, Kent.
Ken, do you have any idea how close the Atom Man has to be to his target to demolish it?
I don't know for a fact, Inspector, but from what I overheard him say, a couple of 100 yards is close enough.
What?
Oh, a couple of 100 yards.
Right. I can't believe it. It's too fantastic. A human being able to generate atomic power? Oh, we're frightening ourselves with a boogeyman.
We can't ignore the facts. Now, as I see it, we're face to face with oblivion tonight.
Unless Superman can stop Miller.
Well, how do you expect to get Superman? Just look him up in the phone book and give him a ring?
Oh, I might not have to do that, Chief.
What do you mean, Kent?
I can't tell you now, but take my word for it.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. There's no time for nonsense. Besides, Miller said Superman was dying.
He was. But he's recovering rapidly. I don't know if he'll be strong enough by tonight to handle the Atom Man in the only way he can be handled, but he's certainly going to try.
Oh, he is. And how do you know?
Well, I know.
How, Kent? Good heavens, man, if you can contact Superman...
I think I can. Goodbye, Inspector.
Goodbye, Kent.
Goodbye, Chief.
What are you shaking hands for?
Well, this may be the last time you see me.
What?
Either Superman or the Atom Man will be finished tonight.
Well, what's that got to do with you?
You'd be surprised.
So long.
Gravely, Clark Kent leaves Inspector Henderson and Perry White to begin a desperate search for the Atom Man and pit himself once more against the human monster in a final desperate bid for victory. We'll return in a moment for the exciting climax of today's episode. But first, your announcer.
You know, gang, I'm sure you've had lots of prizes, but I'll bet none of them ever gave you as much fun as these swell new comic buttons you're all collecting from packages of Kellogg's Pep. First off, it's mighty exciting to see which button is inside every time Mom opens a new package of Pep. If it's one you don't have yet, maybe Herbie or Winnie Winkle or Superman himself, well, that's a real thrill. And if it's a duplicate, then it's even more fun to trade with your pals. These characters are straight from the funny papers, you know, and they're done up in full comic strip colors. So you'll want to collect all 18 different buttons. Just ask Mom to get you some of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. You don't send in any money, not even a box top. You just look inside the Pep package, and there you are, a brilliant new comic button, or a military insignia or warplane button. It's your prize from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now back to the adventures of Superman.
Twilight is falling over Metropolis, along the North Canal which links the Metropolis River with the bay, and along the 21 miles of river itself, police and army personnel are on guard. Giant searchlights sweep the water and its banks, from which mystified civilians have been barred. High in the darkening sky, unseen to all below, Superman hovers, his keen eyes searching. Meanwhile, on one of the many highways climbing the hills to the north of the city, Henry Miller, the Atom Man, wearing cheap clothes, a checked cap, and dark glasses, rides in the front seat of a small delivery truck beside the driver.
Oh, you just got out of the Navy, huh?
That's right. And am I glad to be home?
Sure, I know how you feel. I was in the Army for 3 years myself. Hey, wonder what's going on in Metropolis tonight. Look at all those searchlights down there.
I guess they're looking for me.
For you.
Sure. Give me a welcome home party.
Say, that's pretty good. How far did you say you were going?
I'll be getting off pretty soon now. Say, that's a big reservoir up in the hills there, isn't it?
Biggest in the state. Holds about 100 million gallons.
What would happen if all that water spilled down the hill into Metropolis?
There just wouldn't be any Metropolis left, buddy. But don't worry, it can't happen.
Why not?
On account of the big concrete dam holding it in, that's why.
But suppose the dam was exploded.
Are you kidding? That dam's guarded all the time. Besides, who'd want it exploded? War's over.
That's what you think.
What do you mean, I think? I know.
Okay, have your way. You can drop me anywhere along here.
Right.
Thanks for the ride. So long.
So long. Don't go blowing up that reservoir dam now.
That's funny.
That's exactly what I'm going to do in a very few minutes. And that will be the end of Metropolis.
Leaving the road, the Atom Man slips into the dark woods and begins working his way toward the huge reservoir, poised like a giant basin above Metropolis. Can anyone or anything stop him now? Twice even Superman was defeated and almost annihilated by the man in whose blood runs the deadly atomic energy of kryptonite. This is the night Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, threatened to destroy every man, woman, and child in Metropolis by drowning, while all police authorities, aided by the army, guard every inch of the city's waterways, and Superman hovers high in the heavens, searching for the deadly foe who has twice brought him close to death. Miller, unseen by anyone, is slipping through the dark woods in the hills above Metropolis, bent on shattering the dam holding back the water in the city's gigantic billion-gallon reservoir and engulfing Metropolis. It is almost 8 o'clock, and the citizens, unaware of the fate hanging over their heads, are mystified by the great searchlights sweeping the river and canal, and the multitude of grim, armed men who patrol the banks. In Perry White's office at the Daily Planet, the gray-haired editor, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane are tense with nervous excitement. Listen.
What time does it get to be night, Miss Lane?
What time?
Yeah, what hour?
I don't exactly know, Jim.
When it gets dark, of course. Why?
Well, the Atom Man said when it's night...
He said.
He's gonna drown all of us like rats. And it's dark out now, so...
Oh, Jim, stop it.
But he said
Will you quit that he said business? For the last 24 hours, all I've heard is he said.
But
We know what he said, so stop repeating it. And anyway, I don't believe it.
You don't?
No. The police and the army are guarding every foot of the canal and the river. And the reservoirs, too. Even if Miller has some kind of atomic power, he won't be able to get close enough to use it. He'll be shot.
But what if he's disguised? Nobody'll know him.
Everyone has been barred from the vicinity of the canal and the river. They've been told on the radio and in the papers that anyone disobeying the order will be shot on sight. So if Miller shows his Nazi face, he'll be taken care of in a hurry.
But he doesn't have to get close. Mr. Kent says he can shoot his atomic power from a couple of 100 yards away.
Good heavens.
Now, it's Mr. Kent says. Confound it, Olsen, if we live through this night, I'm going to have Poco fried you in oil and serve you up for breakfast as a pancake. I mean a pancake.
Jim would be an awfully stringy pancake.
We won't be having any breakfast tomorrow.
Well, why won't we?
Because we'll all be...
We won't be anything of the kind. And if you think so, you freckle-faced crepe hanger, what are you hanging around here for? Why don't you get on the train and go where you'll be safe?
Well, nothing doing. If you and Miss Lane are staying here, and everyone else, well, so am I. I'm not running away from any dirty Nazi.
That's the way to talk, Jim.
Oh, of course, Jimmy boy. That's the way we all feel. We've been together a long time, and if this is the end, though mind you, I don't believe it, we'll see it through together.
Of course we will, Chief.
You bet.
The four of us. Where's Kent?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him all afternoon.
Oh, he's probably hiding under his bed.
Now, that's not true, Miss Lane. Mr. Kent's as brave as you are. Why, I'll bet he's out looking for the Atom Man right now.
Nor on a plane headed for California.
He is not. Didn't he find out about the Atom Man in the first place and risk his life going to Sidney's house? And besides...
Stop it,
I
both
was
of you.
only kidding, Jim. We're all nervous, and if we can get off our minds on what may happen... Listen, what's that?
It's the insurance tower chimes. It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, golly. Maybe at any minute.
Jim...
Now relax, both of you. We never showed the white feather to the Nazis before, and we're not going to do it now.
Their nerves on edge, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane wait for disaster. Every moment drags like an hour. The smallest sound rings like the crack of doom. Meanwhile, high above the tense city, Superman streaks through the dark sky, his keen eyes searching the river below for the Atom Man.
No sign of Miller yet. Oh, if only I knew where he planned to strike. And I'd better have another look along the canal. Away! No, he's not here. Oh, where is he? Threatened to drown the city. So he must plan to blast the riverbanks, or destroy the canal and let the sea pour in, or explode the reservoir system. But I haven't been able to spot him anywhere. Well, back along the river again. I must find him. Oh, there's still no sign. Wait. On that roof down there. A man! No! No, it's not Miller. Hook! Hook! Oh, where is he? If I can only take him by surprise and tear that converter off his throat. It controls his power. Then I can handle him. But I've got to do it before he lets loose with that deadly lightning. I've got to find him. Away!
Wheeling and turning like some great fish, the Man of Steel resumes his patrol of the river and canal, widening his range to examine all routes nearby, then rocketing away to circle the series of reservoirs which descend in ever-widening lakes from the distant blue hills to the very doorstep of the city. But in order to patrol as much territory as possible, he narrows his range to 200 yards of each objective, and so he fails to see the Atom Man in dark clothes and cap slipping stealthily from tree to tree through the black woods, still a half-mile from the giant reservoir which, protected by a great concrete dam, looms like a mammoth basin above the city. And as the Atom Man approaches on his deadly mission, two unsuspecting guards, Joe Mitchell and Ed Terrace, pause after completing a circular tour of the huge silvery reservoir lake.
Seems quiet as ever around here, Joe. Why do you suppose we got orders to watch out sharp tonight?
Can't imagine, Ed, but something's up. Look at all them searchlights down there along the river and canal.
Yeah, just like during the war, when they were expecting an air raid. Now, but the war's over.
Of course it is. Ain't no more saboteurs around we gotta watch out for.
Well, we gotta watch out for somebody. That's what the order said. Somebody who might try to blow up the dam.
Nobody better try that. I've got my family down there in Metropolis.
My boy and his wife live there, too. Hey, what's that?
What?
I just saw some lights across the water. There they go again.
Where? Oh, yeah. Oh, those are the Army boys signaling to each other. Sam Lawrence told me they're on patrol all the way up to the Blue Hills.
Yeah, if you ask me, someone's got the wind up about something that ain't gonna happen.
That's what I think, too. What we gotta do as we're told. Should we go round again, Ed?
Yeah, might as well. While we're walking and standing still.
Now, what's that noise?
I don't know. Hey, look, Joe. What in tarnation's that?
What? Where?
Coming out of the woods. You see?
Gee, Jerusalem. Looks like lightning. Green lightning. But it can't be.
Of course it can't. Lightning don't make that hissing sound, and look. It keeps going in a straight line.
Yeah. Ed, it's heading for the dam. Gosh, almighty, look at that hole it blew in the ground. Ed, what is it?
I don't know. It's moving up to the dam now. Good Lord, if it hits the dam, that water's gonna pour down and wash Metropolis off the map!
Panic-stricken, the two guards watch the strange forked green lightning leap from the dark woods and like devil's fingers probe its way toward the huge dam, exploding monstrous craters wherever it hits the earth. The Atom Man is about to make good his threat. Where is Superman? As the deadly Atom Man, hidden in the dark woods, begins flashing his atomic power toward the giant billion-gallon reservoir above Metropolis, Superman, high in the air a few miles away, hears the first explosion, and veering swiftly, sees the long, jagged green lightning leaping toward the reservoir dam.
What? Great Scott! It's Miller! In that patch of woods! Down! Down!
Rocketing down through the pale moonlight, Superman launches himself at the Atom Man, his hands outstretched like a diver's to snatch the tiny electronic converter strapped to the atomic monster's throat. But when he is almost within grasp of his prey, the Atom Man hears the great swoosh of wind, looks up and sees the Man of Steel plummeting down toward him. Quickly he lifts his strangely meshed hands to direct the fierce atomic lightning at his unswerving foe. Struck like a giant bird on the wing, Superman's rush is halted. He falters, seems to shudder and spin completely about in the air. Wild with fury and triumph, the Atom Man shouts at him.
You fool! Haven't you learned that you're helpless against me?
I can't fight him this way. Losing my strength again. Up! Up! There. Just got away. Second more and I'd have been done for. All right, let him try to strike me up here. Let him exhaust his power. Uh-oh. He's shooting at the reservoir again. Better get down and draw him away. Down!
Plummeting downwards once more, the Man of Steel draws the Atom Man's fire, swooping and darting like a red and blue meteor, as the fierce green lightning stabs at him and stabs again and again, crackling and hissing in the night like 1,000 giant snakes.
Keep away, you fool! Keep away!
Savagely, the Atom Man hurls his deadly power at his swirling, darting foe. Sometimes the hideous green bolts strike home, and Superman slows and falters, only to swoop out of range barely in time. Up! Up! How will this titanic battle end? Superman is pitting all his great strength and speed against the one force on Earth, which is mightier than he is. The force which twice brought him within the very shadow of death. Can he possibly win this time, when he fights for his very life and for the lives of those he loves? As we continue now, a titanic battle is raging in the pale moonlight. Miller, the Atom Man, pointing his metal gloved hands aloft, sends fierce shafts of green lightning hissing and crackling at Superman, who wheels and spins and darts from them like some great bird, seeking an opportunity to flash in and rip the electronic converter from Miller's throat. Screaming like a maniac, Miller hurls bolt after bolt at the Man of Steel, watches him falter in midair like a wounded bird, and then barely swoop out of range.
Come closer, I dare you! You're afraid of me! Superman is afraid of me!
Gasping for breath, his mighty muscles weakened by the bombardment of atomic power, Superman clings to the top of a tall tree, regaining his last strength. But the Atom Man, whirling about, sees him and advances, his strange meshed hands outstretched, forked green lightning hurtling from them to pierce and shrivel the trees in his path, to rend and uproot them, and send them crashing to earth with a roar like Jovian thunder.
Now for you, Superman!
Eyes gleaming like a madman's, the Nazi monster points his hands at the tree to which Superman clings, laughing triumphantly as the green atomic lightning strikes the giant trunk, coils around it like fierce twining snakes, uproots and hurls it, blackened and scorched, to the earth. And as Superman falls to the ground in the crashing branches, the Atom Man rushes toward him.
Now I've got you! This time you're through!
Oh! Keep away! His atomic power raking and exploding the earth and branches about his fallen foe, the Atom Man races forward. But suddenly there is a violent burst of wind, a blur of red and blue, and Superman bounds high from the ground, flashing up into the heavens like a comet. Enraged, the Atom Man points his hands aloft and hurls deadly green lightning after him. One bolt, then another strikes the Man of Steel, and his swift descent is halted. He struggles in midair, threshes his powerful arms and legs like a desperate swimmer, and then as the third bolt strikes him, he shudders and begins to fall. Faster and faster he falls, the pale moon lighting his billowing red cape and shimmering on the silvery waters of the vast reservoir below. There is a mighty splash. Superman disappears beneath the surface of the lake. For a long minute, 2 minutes, there is nothing to be seen but an ever-widening circle of ripples on the smooth bosom of the water. And at the edge of the blackened, ravaged woods, the Atom Man, who has turned the switch on the converter at his throat and stilled his deadly power, laughs long and loud.
I said I'd finish you, and I did. You're dead now, drowned.
Once again, the Atom Man touches the switch on the converter strapped to his throat, flashing the electronic impulses through the deadly kryptonite atoms in his blood and surging toward his gloved hands, from which they emerge in the jagged green sparks of atomic energy. Now, triumphantly, he lifts his hands again, points them at the high concrete dam protecting the great reservoir. The green lightning leaps, ever lengthening, and is almost at the dam when Superman flashes upward from the deep waters of the reservoir, his costume and cape dripping, and rockets like a bullet at the Atom Man.
No, you don't, Miller.
You again! What does it take to kill you?
More than you've got, my friend.
You're crazy, you fool! I'll finish you now! Now!
It's you who'll be finished tonight, Miller.
Well, see? Stop this if you can!
Once more the strange and terrible battle rages. Mouthing wild curses, the Atom Man hurls his green power again and again at his flying foe, who darts and twists from it, circles and turns in the air like a giant falcon.
You'll exhaust your power, Miller. What'll you do then?
It won't be exhausted before I finish you, and Metropolis, too. There. Now, I've got you.
No.
There.
No!
Suddenly caught by a dozen bolts of atomic lightning, Superman cries out, stricken, tries to zoom away, falters, and thuds to earth 20 yards from where Miller stands. He lies there, groaning, trying desperately to rise as the Atom Man rushes toward him, his wild, gloating laugh ringing through the woods.
Say your prayers, Superman! This is the end!
I can't. As the Atom Man is almost upon him, Superman makes one final frenzied effort, rolls and clutches at a fallen tree, manages to throw it into the path of his murderous foe. And as the Atom Man lies stunned for a brief moment, the ghastly lightning pouring from his fingers and shattering the earth around him, Superman rises to his feet, his eyes bulging and red-rimmed, his costume stained and torn.
Now's my chance. Now!
Like a staggering giant, Superman reaches the Atom Man and swoops him into his arms.
Up! Up! And away!
High into the pale moonlight leaps the Man of Steel, the fiercely struggling Atom Man in his arms. 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
I want that converter on your throat.
No! No!
I'll get it if I have to. Take your hands off my shoulders.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Take your hands off, I said. The atomic power. It's weakening me.
I warned you, you fool. I said I'd finish you. Now I will.
Fastening his metal gloved hands on Superman's shoulders, the Atom Man's wild laugh rings insanely through the heavens as he witnesses his powerful foe shudder, feels him weaken and grow limp.
Die,
Stop
Superman! Die!
Stop it! My strength is almost gone. I'll drop you.
No!
The terrible atomic power smashes again and again at his weakened body. Superman loses consciousness. His head falls on his chest, his eyes close, and his strong arms relax their grip on his opponent.
I'm falling! I'm falling!
Screaming in terror, the Atom Man feels himself falling, shrieks in panic as he sees the ground miles below rushing up to meet him. A few feet away, his red cape billowing about his limp body, Superman falls too. Faster and faster, the two deadly enemies, both of them helpless now, plummet down toward the bank of the city's North Canal, where police officers and soldiers, attracted by the amazing green lightning miles above, stare upward in open-mouthed wonder. Then there are two smashing, sickening thuds, as first the Atom Man and then the Man of Steel strike the earth and lie still. Carrying the Atom Man high into the heavens, Superman lost consciousness when his deadly enemy tried to finish him with his atomic power, and both of them fell miles to earth, where they landed on the bank of the North Canal in Metropolis. Now, a few minutes later, Superman opens his eyes to see the anxious faces of Police Inspector Henderson and General Niles of the Army looking down at him.
Oh. Hello. Hello, Inspector.
Are you all right, Superman?
Yes, I think so.
No. Don't try to get up yet.
No, I'm all right. Miller. The Atom Man. What about him?
He's finished.
Finished? Are you sure?
No doubt about it. What's left of him is under the canvas over there.
Oh, thank you.
You saved Metropolis tonight, Superman.
You certainly did, and I want to extend my thanks and the thanks of the Army. I'm General Niles, by the way.
Thank you, sir. I didn't mean to let Miller die, but I carried him into the air to prevent him from exploding the dam. Then he tried to finish me. I lost consciousness.
You did a wonderful job, a simply wonderful job. You've had a report of what happened at the reservoir. If it hadn't been for you, every man, woman, and child in Metropolis would be dead by now.
We owe you more than we can ever repay.
You don't owe me anything. I'm fighting for the same things you are. The end of tyranny and intolerance.
Then I'll only say, thank heaven, that the worst threat America ever faced is over.
I'll second that.
Sorry, gentlemen, but the threat is far from over.
What do you mean?
It isn't?
I mean that a terrible threat still remains. To me, to you, and to the entire world.
Amazed, Inspector Henderson and General Niles stare at Superman. Henry Miller, the deadly Atom Man, is no more. So what can his conqueror mean? You who have followed this story closely may be able to guess what Superman means. Know why, at this very moment of his greatest triumph, his own life and the lives of all humanity are still in mortal danger. During his titanic battle with Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Superman carried the human monster high into the heavens. Forgetting his own safety and his maniacal desire to destroy his hated foe, Miller attacked the Man of Steel with his deadly atomic power. Superman lost consciousness, and the two mighty opponents fell through space to the banks of the Metropolis Canal, where police and soldiers were on guard against Miller's threat to wipe out the city that night. The fall killed the Atom Man instantly. But when Superman revived a few moments later, he amazed Police Inspector Henderson and General Niles of the Army by stating, "Yes, gentlemen, a terrible threat still remains. To me, to you, and to the entire world."
What do you mean? The Atom Man is dead.
I know, Inspector. But two small pieces of kryptonite are still in existence.
What?
Kryptonite? What's that? That, General Niles, is the deadliest, most radioactive element on Earth. More powerful than uranium. Dissolved and injected into Henry Miller's veins, it gave him his atomic power. And the last two pieces of the original fragment, all there is in the world, are now in the hands of dangerous criminals.
I see what you mean. You think they might create another Atom Man.
That's exactly what I think, General. Or they may be able to create something even more terrible.
What could be more terrible than a living atomic monster?
Nothing. Look, Superman, how can there be 2 more pieces of kryptonite? There was only 1 piece in the first place, the original fragment that fell to Earth about a year ago.
That's right, Inspector. But when the Scarlet Widow stole the fragment from the Metropolis Museum, she cut it up into 4 pieces. She knew it had the power to rob me of my strength, and she intended to sell the 4 pieces to my enemies for $1 million each.
Who is the Scarlet Widow?
She's called the most dangerous woman in the world, and she's well named. Go on, Superman. What happened to the 4 pieces?
Der Teufel, the Nazi scientist who made Henry Miller an atom man, got the first one. He told Miller about the Scarlet Widow. So when Miller exhausted his atomic power on me in our first fight, he sent Sidney, his henchman, to the Widow to get more kryptonite. Sidney bought 1 piece, and the Widow told him she had sold the other 2 pieces.
Sold them? To whom?
Well, Sidney said she wouldn't tell him. But we've got to find the Scarlet Widow, Inspector, and make her tell us.
That's easier said than done. There's been a 48-state alarm out for her ever since she stole the kryptonite from the museum. We haven't been able to find a trace of her.
Sidney knew where she was.
Sure, but he's dead.
They may have left some records.
Well, my boys ransacked his country house and his city apartment today, right after Clark Kent was found in his garage.
Nothing showed up?
Not a thing. But we're digging into his past now, trying to run down his connections. Well, I'll go back to headquarters now that this Atom Man scare is over and get to work on the case myself.
You won't mind if I look over Sidney's house and apartment, will you?
Of course not. But you won't find anything.
I'd like to have a try, anyhow.
Help yourself.
Thanks, Inspector. I'll be going then. Goodbye, General Niles. Glad to have met you.
Goodbye, Superman, and thanks again for what you did tonight.
That goes for me, too.
Don't thank me. My own life was at stake. And until the last 2 pieces of kryptonite are recovered and destroyed, I'll be in danger. I'll be seeing you, Inspector. Up! Up! And away!
Leaping from the bank of the canal, Superman streaks through the night skies to Sidney's country place. For hours he searches the empty house, and then the secret cellar under the garage where he had been so close to death. He examines every inch of the floors, the walls, the ceilings. The sun has long since risen when at last he gives up and streaks back to Metropolis. Resuming the guise and garb of Clark Kent, he phones Jimmy Olsen, and a short time later the boy reporter joins him in the late Sidney's handsome apartment overlooking the park.
We worried about you, Mr. Kent. Where were you all night?
Taking care of the Atom Man, of course. And then... Help me go through this desk, Jim.
Well, what do you mean taking care of the Atom Man?
Just what I said. Why, the Atom Man story, of course. His fight with Superman.
But you didn't cover that story.
Oh, who says I didn't?
Oh, I do. We got the story from Inspector Henderson when he released it to all the papers.
Well, how do you like that? I had a terrific scoop, and I forgot to phone it in.
Well, what? You had a scoop on the biggest story of all time, and you forgot to turn it in.
That's right. A fine reporter I am.
Oh, I can't believe it.
That's true, though. I guess I was pretty groggy. All I could think of was that there were still 2 pieces of kryptonite that had to be recovered.
Oh, boy, Mr. White better not hear about this. Why, he'll boil you in oil. He'll fire you.
All right, never mind that. What we've got to do is make sure there'll never be another Atom Man or something even worse. Keep looking, Jim.
All right.
There's nothing in this drawer except the usual bills, club notices, and so on.
Oh, you don't expect to find the pieces of kryptonite here, do you?
Oh, no, of course not. We've got to find out about the Scarlet Widow, who knows where they are. Sidney had contact with her. And judging by that and from other things I heard him tell Miller in the garage, he had powerful connections. If we can trace some of his connections, we may be able to find the widow.
Oh. Why, that guy Sidney sure fooled me.
Yeah, Sidney was very clever.
You said it.
Well, nothing in this desk.
Hey, maybe there's something behind one of the pictures, huh? I heard a story on the radio.
There isn't anything behind the pictures.
Did you look?
Yes.
Oh. Well, what about the furniture? There might be something inside the linings.
No, there isn't.
How do you know?
Well, Sidney was too smart to leave anything incriminating in the furniture. That's one of the first places the police look.
Oh, they listen to the radio whodunits too, huh?
You try that crack on Inspector Henderson sometime. Come on, we'll take a look at the bedroom.
Okay. Gosh, Mr. Kent, I was feeling so good about the Atom Man being finished, but now I'm just as scared as I was before.
So am I. Okay, you take the dresser, Jim. I'll go through this chest of drawers.
Okay. Say, don't you think maybe we ought to put an ad or something in the Daily Planet?
Huh?
To let Superman know there's still a couple of pieces of kryptonite around?
Oh.
He might think now that the Atom Man is done for that he's safe.
Oh, he knows everything I do.
How does he? Oh, you mean you saw him last night?
Huh? I guess you could say that, yeah.
What do you mean you guess?
Well, I was with him.
Oh. Gee, this Sidney was some dude. Everything silk. Shirts, socks, pajamas. Holy cow, even his underwear.
Uh-huh.
All with fancy monograms, too. Hey, what's this?
What?
This. Look, Mr. Kent, look at this.
Eagerly, Jimmy holds out a small, strange object. What is it? as the boy reporter found a clue to the Scarlet Widow? Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode as the story takes a strange new twist. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. Give a hip hip hooray, gang. It's back. For you and me, now there's Kellogg's famous variety. That's the swell variety carton with 10 separate generous packages of Kellogg's cereals, including Kellogg's Pep, Rice Krispies, shredded wheat, Corn Flakes, Crumbles, and Bran Flakes. Yes, each box in Kellogg's variety holds a fresh, crisp heaping portion. Just help yourself to your favorite kind. Makes breakfast a picnic of fun, so ask Mom to get Kellogg's variety right away. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.